Tyrion 7 of A Storm of Swords. So Tyrion is lying in bed with his wife. Dreadful details of the Red Wedding have reached King's Landing about how the Freys mutilated the corpse of Robb Stark and Catelyn Tully. Tyrion has tried to keep those stories from Sansa and wants to comfort her, but he knows she will never take comfort from a Lannister. He leaves to visit Shay in the room where the dragon skulls are kept, but he remembers his recent conversation with Varys. The eunuch warned him that if he was confronted by the queen, he would have to tell her the truth about Shay. Tyrion realizes that if he is to save Shay, he must either send her away or marry her off. After she pleases him, he decides that he will marry her to Sir Talad, and Cersei will never think to find out who she is. So yeah, I was actually shocked at how short this chapter was, because I was like,
well, we were hyped last time.
Because
Tyrion.
Yeah, well, we just had a big Daenerys chapter and everything. So it's actually really like a part 2 of the previous Tyrion chapter, where
yes,
remember in the last chapter, Tyrion just got the news of all of this stuff was going down, and that was actually quite a large chapter. But here we go. So just sort of the opening bit here. Tyrion dressed himself in darkness, listening to his wife's soft breathing from the bed they shared. She dreams, he thought, when Sansa murmured something softly, a name, perhaps, though it was too faint to say, and turned onto her side. A man and a wife, they shared a marriage bed, but that was all. Even her tears she hoards to herself. He had expected anguish and anger when he told her of her brother's death, but Sansa's face had remained so still that for a moment he feared she had not understood. It was only later, that with a heavy oaken door between them, that she heard the sobbing. Tyrion had considered going in to her then to offer what comfort he could. No, he had to remind himself she would not look to solace from a Lannister. The most he could do was shield her from the uglier details of the Red Wedding as they came in from the twins. Sansa did not need to hear how her brother's body had been hacked and mutilated. He decided nor how her mother's corpse had been dumped naked into the Green Fork in a savage mockery of House Tully's funeral customs. The last thing the girl needed was more fodder for the nightmares.
Yeah, and Tyrion's basically going through the checklist of how awful this thing is, which I think is Tyrion acknowledging the fact that this is terrible, but also went way too far. Like the amount of disrespect is kind of insane. I know they're at war, but ironic coming from the Lannisters, who pride themselves on being so pretentious. I think that this is one of those chapters, Matt. We talk about POV reads all the time, but you would miss some very good characterization from Sansa. George intentionally gave us the reaction to this event from Tyrion's POV for Sansa, and it does a lot for her character. My heart breaks for her in this moment. We kind of know where she's at mentally by Tyrion's observations. We also get the wonder, is she shielding herself because she doesn't trust Tyrion fully, right? She's probably having a very different reaction on the inside of her head, makes you want to read the next Sansa chapter for sure. But we also get a lot of characterization from the empathy that I think Tyrion is showing her in this moment, and just how bad of a position he's also in. Not saying it's worse, but Tyrion is in a very awkward spot. Hey, we just killed your family and disrespected everything that your house stands for, and we're supposed to consummate this marriage. I mean, that is awful stuff. I mean, it's just such a terrible predicament to be in, obviously for Sansa more so than Tyrion. But this is one of those times where I think if you just did a POV read of Sansa, you would miss a little bit of that.
Yeah, and I think part of this chapter from Tyrion's point of view, ultimately what it does is it shows, I mean, a lot of it is just why he's still loves Shay and he wants to keep Shay close, because I think, it's much harder for him to give away Shay or to try to get rid of her, because Sansa wants nothing to do with him. Like if Sansa were on the other side and Sansa began to love him and everything, then I think he would easily just dismiss Shay. It'd be much easier to get rid of her. But
I don't think he would easily do it. I don't think he would easily do it.
I don't know. I think Tyrion would. I think that's a good what if. Like, what if Sansa did actually fall for Tyrion? Do you think he would have just gotten rid of Shay?
I don't think he would have got rid of her. I think it would have been a big conflict within himself. Thank God, by the way, George didn't go that route.
Right. Yeah.
That'd be awful. So bad.
Our world in itself is far too full of, relationships, gross things. Yeah.
Yeah, and
We don't need
honestly,
we don't need more of that in our books in our book series.
we don't need it in our books. And I will tell you, there's stuff in the fantasy genre like people would write that in. I've read the books. I mean, it's just
Right.
so like well, I'm a damsel, but you're a good person, so I love you now. And it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I think George, if anyone can give him credit for one thing, I think it's the fact that he goes with probably the most natural human instinct.
Hmm.
Like he doesn't betray our intelligence or our own lived in experiences for sake of the plot or whatever. He puts characters in really bad situations, and most of the time,
And realistic, that would have definitely taken place in
sure,
medieval times and everything. Yeah.
and they don't usually get out. And that's the hard part about the story to read is that sometimes our characters they put themselves in bad situations, or they're put in bad situations, and they don't make it out. They don't magically escape. There are escapes, obviously, Theon and Jane Poole in Dance with Dragons, but it's few and far between. It's much more likely that things are going to go very poorly. So I think George made the right decision for sure on that, no doubt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. Okay, we can continue on a little bit here. Like I said, it's like a very short chapter. So really, as we said in the summary, he goes down to the dragon skull room, right? Within the dragon skulls were waiting, and so was Shay. I thought my lord had forgotten me. Her dress was draped over a black tooth near as tall as she was, and stood within the dragon's jaws, nude. Balerion, he thought, or was it Vagar? One dragon skull looked much like another. Just the sight of her made him hard. Come out, come out there. I won't. She smiled her wickedest smile. My lord will pluck me from the dragon's jaws, I know. But when he waddled closer, she leaned forward and blew out the taper. That's just to catch him. They run around a little bit. And she says some things. My giants come to save me.
It feels very playful in the scene, but now with all the context, does it not feel like she's mocking him?
Yeah.
It kind of pisses me off.
It is actually something to go back because she, as we've said a lot of times, Shay is one of those characters where there is a lot of mystery around her, and it's that she is the character I look to when you think about any of the potential theories or stuff that we've all been theorizing for over a decade at this point, as we wait for Winds of Winter, and we're not going to get the answers to everything if and when Winds of Winter
Right.
does ever come out, and Shay is really the reason for that, because there is a lot. I mean, was she just there? Did Tywin at that battle? Did Tywin bring her in, which a lot of people have theorized about, to spy on Tyrion for him because he is in there with her, right? Because Tywin would have just been with her whether Tyrion comes in to kill him or not.
Well, that's my question. I was going to ask you, do you think during this scene that she's already seeing his dad?
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know that
We'll never know.
When that relationship takes place. Yeah, when it starts.
Fun to speculate about.
That would be something to go back and try to dive into. Look at like Tywin and Tyrion chapters and see if there's any
like did she
indication.
Did she switch how she's talking? Is her attitude different?
I bet that's been posted in the subreddit, but that'd be a good that's a very good that's a good, maybe we should Patreon that. That'd be a good one to dive into.
Yeah, we need to get all the Shay references, mostly pretty much all of them, because we'd want to see if there was a change in her behavior.
Yeah. So essentially, they frolic around a little bit more, and then we run into Varys. And
Varys in the skull room. Now, this is a very interesting place for all this to take place, and I don't think it's by accident for two reasons. The first one is just one that I like to talk about. There's so much dragon stuff around Tyrion, and he has dragon dreams. He dreams of burning Castle Rock. He's, obviously fornicating in this dragon room. So many things about Tyrion are punctuated or accentuated by dragons. And a lot of people think the Tyrion being a secret Targaryen is stupid. I don't believe that. I don't think he is. But is this all not just symbolism for the dragon that he will eventually meet, being Daenerys? Right? These are maybe these are just like little hints of George saying, yeah, he's going to go over there and he's going to actually be on that side of things.
Yeah. Is there any potential that Tyrion is the Mummer's dragon?
Would
Because
that
he's
be wild?
because he yeah, I don't know. Because maybe I mean, if you think about maybe like like you think of like the fist of a dragon could be like the general of like Aegon or something. You know what
Can,
I mean?
can I just throw something out? This is stupid. I don't take this serious, but I just want to say it. What if, you know how everyone's speculated about, well, what if Tyrion's mom was impregnated by the king, right?
Right.
What if Tyrion uses that, like he uses it in the book, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm actually a Targaryen." Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, like
If he
he
leans into
knows
it.
he leans into it. Yeah, knowing although we know he's not, but he could try to argue that he is.
Like, that's a way he could become
Right.
the Mummer's Dragon. I know the timelines don't
I
match,
know.
but, like, he could probably fabricate something in there, and maybe people might believe, maybe they
Right. And
won't. I
maybe
don't
yeah,
know.
right. And I think we think oh it means a false dragon or all these things, but it could also maybe it's like meaning like the voice of the dragon, right? Like think about that scene in Game of Thrones where Daenerys burns the Tarleys and Tyrion tries to tell her not to do it.
Yeah.
Like what if it's the other way around? And Tyrion's like, no, you should do it.
I
Because remember, Tyrion in the books right now is going down a much kind of different path than Tyrion in the show. Because Tyrion in the show is like became the favorite, the biggest, probably most popular character in the show. I mean, Peter Dinklage is the one who won all the awards,
yeah.
and so they didn't have him freaking with Penny and all these
Yeah.
all these other things that we see in the books where Tyrion's like much more angry, much more aggressive, much more
He's a
monstrous with
villain in book 5.
yeah. Yeah, and but that doesn't mean he's not gonna get redeemed and come full circle.
Sure.
But maybe if he is with Daenerys and the counsel he's giving her is actually maybe the other way around. It's like, no, you should use it.
I think Tyrion will try to influence Dany for his own means, and I've said this for a long time. I think that he will burn down Casterly Rock, and I think that that might be where Cersei dies potentially. That could happen.
Yeah.
I've talked about Cersei fleeing to Casterly Rock. I think we go there in the books for sure. So it's a good question, but you cannot ignore how many times dragons are mentioned in Tyrion's POVs. It happens so often. I mean, he has dragon dreams for
It's
God's
huge.
sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
Here's another question for you. This is the second question. So we know that this dragon room is very much a Varys space. Do you think that Varys might have had a hand in Shay hooking up with Tywin?
Could be. Because I don't think I mean I think Varys likes Tyrion, but I don't think he's
Oh, he wants.
he keeps I think he keeps all of his options open.
He also is very much on team Fagon, right? He is
Yeah,
there.
because that's not a thing in the show.
If he will kill Kevin Lannister, he will betray Tyrion. How about that? So I'm thinking, man, maybe Varys it was the root of all evil in all of this. Like he really mastermind Shay, and like it could be him.
Yeah.
And maybe he didn't account. Maybe he didn't think Tyrion would kill Shay. He thought he had a more pure heart than that.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, my only I mean, it's just so tough because then you get into the ideas of like Varys and Illyrio. Were they ever actually planning on using Daenerys? Did they just get rid of her because it's just
Well,
like
we talked. Yeah, we don't know how much of this is going according to the plan. How much is them improvising? It's
right?
hard to say.
Was the plan to use use Viserys and Daenerys? And then you
Possibly
kind of realize maybe this isn't going to work, or was the plan
Fagon the whole time.
Fagon the whole time? Yeah, young Griff the
I
whole
think
time.
either way, Varys could still. I think one thing's true. Varys wanted the top of the Lannisters. No matter who they wanted to put in charge, I think it's very clear that the Baratheon Lannister thing was not going to be there.
Well,
Whoever shows up.
the other thing is, and maybe this was just the show not knowing what to do with Varys, or maybe this is
100%.
one of the things George told where he's like, I'm for the realm. At the end of the day, maybe even with Illyrio, is Varys
Well, very
that could very much still be his angle, because he kind of tells Kevin Lannister a lot of those things.
well, that's to say, yeah, that we know that I don't think that's a point from George, but I think it's true from the books. I think Varys is being honest with Kevin Lannister in that moment.
Well, I guess my point would be then he doesn't even necessarily care about young Griff. It's just he keeps his options open to be able to manipulate people when and how he needs to.
Yeah.
And having this existential threat of young Griff that could potentially come in would
Yeah.
open the door, to, well, if I don't like, if I don't like who's running the show now, then we'll get somebody else.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident that he would
Because
do pretty much anything to get rid of the Lannisters. I think
right.
he's set that they're not the
But
right
he's but after he takes out Kevin Lannister, and he's already kind of on the outs with them anyway, the Lannisters anyway. Because
Yeah, so
he and Tommen may have gotten along.
sure. I mean, Tommen was a good boy for all intents and purposes, or still is. But I think all of this said, like with every possibility we go, I still think it's very possible that Varys knew that he could sow this discord between Tywin and Tyrion with Shay. And I think that he might had a hand in Tywin and Shay coming together.
Yeah.
And that's an answer. So I don't think we need that answer, by the way, but I think it's an answer we could get. Like if Varys did it, he might tell Tyrion at some point.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Man, that'd be.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because, I mean, yeah, in the show, Varys goes and he gets with Daenerys and he, and he joins her cause, where I don't think that's going to happen because he's going to join young Griff.
And there's the whole Dorne thing. Like, there's so much. I mean, as you can tell, like I know people are always like,
maybe that's the okay. You know what? I haven't thought of that actually. Is that maybe that's the play, because we've talked about Sansa, and is she going to be the one that young Griff gets with? Because the army of the Vale is just sitting there.
Not to mention,
then it would give us the Varys Littlefinger clash, which needs to happen, because it's so set up from the beginning.
Varys is also a fan of the Starks, I believe. He went and visited Ned and tried to save Ned's life. I'm just saying, maybe he sees Sansa as part of this deal. I think he has multiple chess pieces. It'll also be interesting to see if Varys and Illyrio split.
I'm saying they could.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because
there's so many ways this could go, dude.
I know, it's so great. That's why I still love speculating about it.
Yeah, it's
like
so
years
fun.
later, because it's so insane, because there's so many different things.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll continue on here a little bit. So yeah, so I think Tyrion brings up a good point here too. He says, the spider was right. Tyrion groped through the dragon-haunted darkness for his small clothes, feeling wretched. The risk he was taking left him tight as a drumhead, and there was guilt as well. The others can take my guilt, he thought as he slipped his tunic over his head. Why should I be guilty? My wife wants no part of me, and most especially not the part that seems to want her. Perhaps he ought to tell her about Shay. It was not as though he was the first man ever to keep a concubine. Sansa's own so honorable father had given her a bastard brother. For all he knew, his wife might have been thrilled to learn that she was with Shay, so long as he spared her his unwelcome touch. Then he says, no, I do not. Bowser, no, his wife could not be trusted. But here he is still, now Tywin said, don't do it. At the end of the day, Tywin said, do not do this. And he's continuing to find ways to justify it.
Yeah, trying to justify it, but also.
And everyone has told him, like Tywin told him, this is a bad idea. Varys tells him, this is a bad idea. The walls have closed around Tyrion because he went from being Hand of the King. He was forced to do this thing. He's lost his nose in the Battle of the Blackwater. He was forced to marry Sansa. Walls are closing. He's continuing to hear that the walls are closing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's left himself vulnerable, really, because
he has.
We don't really get a POV. We don't see the character enough to know. But, Littlefinger and Olenna Tyrell, they've been planning to get rid of Joffrey. And maybe if Tyrion had been more on his game and it wasn't going off with Shay and was trying to, be with Sansa more, even if it's just be around her more, maybe that wouldn't have happened.
Possible. I think also it's pretty interesting the fact that we just talked about Sansa can't trust Tyrion, and Tyrion's like, I can't trust Sansa. Like, no
Yeah.
one can trust anybody in the Red Keep. It's so like, could you imagine?
Yeah. But that's actually, I think it's more crazy that he thinks he can't trust her.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly what would be happening at this point where she is going to like who's she gonna tell?
Right.
Yeah.
What's she? I mean, yeah, because he doesn't have anything on her. I mean, who's she's gonna tell Cersei, and then what? Like they need Tyrion to be with Sansa. He's a little short-sighted in that.
He is, and I also think that there might be some sort of desire of like telling his secret, like sharing
Yeah.
his secret, maybe out of like some sort of guilt, possibly. But yeah, it is kind of weird that he feels like he can't trust Sansa. I guess she could be forced to say something, but she could also be forced to lie, false testimony easily,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna continuing on here a little bit. So Tyrion gets dressed, Shay comes back out and everything, and she asks if he's displeased her. This is kind of interesting. My lord, where are you? Did the dragons eat you up? No, here. He groped at a dragon skull. I have found a shoe, but I believe it's yours. So I don't know, just in the dark, touching dragon skulls.
Hmm.
Um, you know, No, he said too curtly. You always please me, and therein is our danger. He might dream of sending her away at times like this, but that was never lasted long. Also, he's like touching dragons, by the way. He's touching dragons, skulls, and talking about dreaming. Just maybe a little connection.
There's some stuff there. I
Just
really
a little bit
believe
of stuff
that.
there. A vague light was leaking through the row along narrow windows set high in the cellar wall. The skulls of the Targaryen dragons were emerging from the darkness, around them black amidst gray. Day comes too soon. A new day, a new year, a new century. I survived the Green Fork and the Blackwater. I can bloody well survive King Joffrey's wedding. She snatched her dress down from the dragon's tooth and slipped it over her head. I'll go up first. Brella will want help with the bathwater. She bent over to give him one last kiss upon the brow. My giant of Lannister, I love you so. And I love you as well, sweetling. A whore she might well be, but she deserved better than that. Better than what he had to give her. I will still wed her to Sir Talad. He seems like a decent man and tall. So, I guess I don't know exactly when. I mean, the wedding is coming close, right? Is it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. So it's the wedding is not the next chapter because we go back to Sansa and then we go back to Tyrion, and that's the chapter. And then you go back to Sansa again. So I mean, maybe she is with Tywin right now.
Yeah.
Because she's like is maybe a little mocking a little bit. And Varys tells her, by the way, maybe that's actually maybe like Varys being like, hey man, you need to stay away, is his way of saying he knows what's
It
going
could
on.
absolutely be that, or the fact that and this is why I kind of want to go back and read some Shay sections because I feel I remember her maybe being apprehensive, and then all of a sudden she's like back to being normal Shay, and I don't think that Tyrion has given her
No,
enough
you're right.
reaffirmation.
She is because once he marries her, she's like, yeah, she's very apprehensive.
Yeah, so I feel like something has changed. So I think at this point it could
And
at
if you remember
least the introductions
if
have
you
been
remember
made.
the last Tyrion chapter, Tywin kind of goes off on Tyrion for not consummating the marriage yet. Like, where's the heir?
Yeah, that's right.
So it probably is like right now that it's already started.
Yeah, it's
He knows.
very
I
good
bet.
chance.
Yeah, my guess is he probably starts to do it because he wants eyes and ears on Tyrion because he wants that heir now.
Mm.
The sooner they get the heir to Winterfell, the sooner everything will be much easier. So they're probably, and then Varys is now coming to kind of talk to him and warn him. Of course, they don't know that the purple wedding is about to happen.
Right. And it's
Right.
ironic that Tyrion says, I can sure as hell survive Joffrey's wedding. It's like, well, maybe not.
Right.
Maybe not. You
Exactly.
should never
Yeah.
assume these
You should never
things.
say that. But it probably has already started. Tywin and Shay has already started. Because
They may have.
my guess is it definitely starts before the purple wedding, just because I don't think he like just gets with her after Tyrion gets like sentenced and everything.
It could be. Like, I could see both.
To try and spite him because he's probably never going to see Tyrion
Well,
again
he
because
also
he's going to get sent to the
questions her
wall.
I mean, hey, Tywin's a fallible man. You know, maybe he's questioning her, and then she seduces him, and like, I'd like to see what my son's so infatuated with.
Yeah, because it's also
She's had
crazy.
the young cub, now she wants the papa bear.
Yeah, it's also crazy, by the way, man. I mean, we literally just did like Red Wedding, and then really you kind of have like that Daenerys chapter in the middle to kind of all right block, to kind of that's really what those Daenerys chapters are. Is they're kind of like segments to
Well,
be
yeah,
like,
you got to bring it down a little bit before you hit the next home run. You know, you need to get a couple batters on base, and then you can go for the grand slam.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
good
all right.
stuff.
Well, yeah, like you said, a pretty short chapter.
And we talked about adaptations for like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
My bad.
I might, it's fine. No, I might even split it into 2 episodes just because sometimes I like to keep the
The book stuff
chapter
separate.
just itself. Yeah, so I think I might do that.
Cool.
But yeah, so let's see where we're at next time. So
Sons
okay,
of Four.
Sons of Four, which is crazy. And again, same thing, man. Sometimes you got to read a lot of Tyrion chapters to
Yeah.
get the Sans information. So, with that, we want to thank you for playing the Game of Thrones. In our next episode, we will be discussing A Storm of Swords, Chapter 59, Sansa 4.
And if you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like us, write a review, leave a comment, or send us a raven at btkcast@gmail.com or bendthekneepodcast.com.
We'll see you next time. And remember that winter is coming.